our standard disclaimer statement, there could be some forward-looking information that's provided in this, and I urge all people who listen to this webcast to review our disclaimer statement. Premier is a North American-focused company. We are entirely in Canada, the United States, and in Mexico. We operate in some of what I believe are some of the most favorable mining jurisdictions in the world, including Geraldton and Red Lake camps of Ontario, the Carlin and Battle Mountain Trends of Nevada, and the Sonora District of Mexico. We're not a single asset company. In fact, we have 8 active projects in our portfolio, including what we consider 4 core advantage projects. And our business model is to grow our production through the near-term development of multiple new mines in Nevada. We have 2 projects undergoing permitting for future production, and one of those being our largest and flagship operation, the Hard Rock deposit at Greenstone. It is a large-scale de-risk project that is permitted on the Trans-Canada Highway. We ended the first quarter with $66.4 million in cash, US dollar figures, and we have a strong balance sheet to execute on our business plan. In terms of mineral reserves and resources, we're a company that continues to view exploration as a core part of our business. We have a history of growing gold resources. We started with next to none when we started the company years ago as an exploration company, and have been one of the few companies successfully transitioned from pure explorer to producer. And with the advancements in our projects in both Canada and the United States, we currently have reserves that support current and future production of more than 16 years. We have 3 million ounces in mineral reserves and approximately 10 million ounces in mineral resources. If you look at the lower part of the current slide 4, we have portfolio projects that includes 2 producing projects, Mercedes that we own 100% in Mexico, and South Arturo that is a venture with Nevada Gold Mines in the Carlin Trend of Nevada. In terms of execution, we began stripping what we call the Phase 1 pit in 2019. But if you look in feasibility and conceptual, we also have the leach or the heap leach project in the Phase 3 on the in the Carlin Trend that we're currently working on what is going to be the final plan to bring these additional projects to production, and we're currently working with our partner. In terms of feasibility stage assets, Greenstone Gold, that is our partnership with Centerra in Ontario, is a production-ready project on the Trans-Canada Highway. McCoy Cove is the company's highest grade deposit that is also moving towards feasibility, and that is also in Nevada. Our cornerstone development project for the company is Greenstone Gold Mines. Greenstone Gold Mines is an independent company that is jointly owned with Centerra Gold that has been formulated to build or advance the Hard Rock deposit to what we expect will be the ultimate development. Centerra continues to sole fund the project, so Premier is currently carried, and the Hard Rock deposit represents one of Canada's largest undeveloped and permitted gold deposits, with a measured and indicated resource of 7.1 million ounces and an additional 3.9 million inferred. So the deposit on a 100% basis is now up to 11 million ounces. It has now garnered full federal and provincial government approval, and impact and benefit agreements have been entered into with all required local First Nation communities. So essentially a shovel-ready project. And really the all economic work that's being completed at Greenstone is on the open pit portion. There's been no economic work being given to the underground extension. The underground extension is now up to over 4 million ounces in all categories, with the westernmost or the last step out drilled intersected 18.49 grams over 20.5 meters. Since the initial feasibility study was delivered in 2016, we spent nearly 100 million Canadian dollars, that's Centerra funding, to advance the project to what we expected was going to be a production decision this summer. However, going into the end of the year, our partner filed a suit against the company, which effectively has blocked our ability to call a feasibility study on this project. Importantly, though, when you look at the image on the right on slide 6, the road that goes horizontally through that image is the Trans-Canada Highway. So unlike a lot of projects that require infrastructure to be brought in, we actually have to move the Trans-Canada Highway, and we're permitted to do that. And along that highway is a power line. So having to bring in all the infrastructure, we have to move the infrastructure. And similar to Canadian Malarctic, you can see in the north part of that image, the town of Geraldton. So there's good access to people to work at the operation immediately on site, and they don't have to be brought in, flown in, which we expect to reduce costs. In addition to just hard rock and that underground extension that hasn't been factored into the current economics, we also, approximately 75 kilometers away, have the Brookbank deposit that is host to both an open pit portion running approximately 2 grams and an underground deposit grading 7.2 grams. And we expect that this project will be the next to be permitted and will be a satellite deposit mined and milled at the hard rock operation. The image on the right is another deposit that we've partially delineated called Key Lake. Occurs approximately 14 kilometers to the west of Hard Rock, and key intercepts in the west extension area are 44.9 grams over 3.4 meters, and our last drill hole that we drilled on that project was 8.5 grams over 8 meters. So that area is wide open. In this central part of the deposit, we have intercepts up to over 200 grams per ton in previous drilling. So very high grade mineralization that hasn't even been brought to a resource, but we believe will represent the future of this project years from now. So we envision a multi-decade mine at Hard Rock. Nevada is one of the areas that we feel is highly understated in our current share price. We own a project called South Arturo, as shown on slide 8, that is situated right in the heart of the Carlin Trend. So as many people may know, Nevada Gold Mines was formed as a joint venture between Newmont and Barrick after Barrick tried to take Newmont over. And the core part of consolidation was this North Carlin, where the Leeville mine sits, the Genesis open pit. Here's the Gold Strike open pit, and you have Meikle, Banshee, and Wren running up to the north. And immediately adjoining what is now 100% consolidated ground is South Arturo. So in the North Carlin, the only company that is situated in the productive part of the belt is Premier, with a 4% ownership of the South Arturo project. We just declared commercial production at the new El Nino mine that in the first quarter exceeded expectations and generated strong cash for the company. It isn't currently affected by the current COVID crisis and is still operating. And we are working on 3 additional development opportunities. There's the phase 1 pit, the phase 3 pit, and the heap leach component. All are fully permitted. The one issue we have we believe at getting full value for this project is the fact that these operations are being built with technical reports. So there's no feasibility study. Barrick is part of their Gold Strike operations, so they don't require to do a feasibility study. But those are some of the things we're working on doing. We have partially stripped phase 1. We have a significant stockpile of mineralization that will be processed by heap leach. And we stopped stripping because as we were stripping that pit, we had a positive reconciliation of heap leach material of plus 91% versus model. So nearly double the material was being stockpiled than expected. And we hadn't built the heap leach pad before starting. Premier would like to see the heap leach pad constructed. and then we put that material on there and then continue stripping. The phase 3 pit had grade reconciliation of plus 72%. On the right of this image is El Nino, the underground operation that just came into development. Some of the other big positives we saw in 2019 is on the current slide, you can see the conceptual pit shell for phase 3, which is planned to be the third phase of mining here, where we did drilling that actually reconciled plus 72% to the model, in-pit intercepts of 62.5 meters of nearly 8 grams, and then we had intercepts outside of the pit shell up to 112.8 meters of over 7 gram material. So really highlights that this is a downtown Carlin deposit with still a significant upside. All deposits are open on strike and at depth. For the intercepts from last year's program at our new mine, El Nino, a lot of these holes are expansion holes. We had up to 51.8 meters of 11 grams. And that is some of the material we're mining now. El Nino came into production on time, on budget, and is operating as exactly as expected. Barrick's been a great partner to our company and a great operator. This deposit remains open, and some of the deep intercepts that we have yet to follow up are up to 37.6 grams or an ounce per ton over 12.2 meters. Mexico is our other operation, Mercedes, that we own 100%. What we're doing at Mercedes, we've had a challenging 2019 and so far in 2020 at Mercedes, but in 19 we had some fairly significant exploration successes. Some of the areas being mined, Diluvio, Lupita, Diluvio particularly has been mining out at less than what we expect grade, but Lupita is a slightly higher grade deposit on trend. In 19, we had the drilling you see here with 2 holes that didn't intersect any mineralization, but follow-up drilling in 2019, we discovered San Martin to the west and what we call Lupita Extension. And we were just developing the Lupita Extension deposit when we were shut down owing to the COVID-19 crisis. So we do expect this month to begin ramping back up, and the focus will be on developing these higher grade deposits like Lupita Extension. We continue to advance additional projects that we call our future, the 100% McCoy Cove property in Nevada, and our 2 projects in Red Lake. At McCoy Cove, we have a project where we're permitted to complete ground development and a bulk sample, should we choose. It is a PEA stage project that represents one of the highest grade plus 1 million ounce gold deposits in all of the United States, with an average grade of over 11.2 grams. The deposit is situated in this blue area, about a 50 square mile property that we own 100% of, just south of Nevada Gold Mines' Phoenix operation. Our plan is to complete an underground development program to complete infill drilling and ultimately a feasibility study, following which we hope will be a production decision. Last, in the Red Lake camp, we are completing a drill program this year on our Hasaga property. Hasaga, we've successfully delineated a potential open pit style resource in the upper portions of Hasaga. Hasaga is situated immediately, is part of the first ever in the Red Lake camp that produced 640,000 ounces until 1952 and has been mostly idle since then. And we came back looking, because it was a different style of mineralization to Red Lake rather than narrow high grade, displayed significant widths. We thought this was the best potential for an open pit resource. We now have well over 1 million ounces in all categories. And we're currently delineating a deeper deposit that we call the C and D zones, part of the F deposit, where we've had intercepts up to 54 meters of nearly 11 grams per ton in that zone. And we will be drilling this to reach in 2020. So with that, you'll see how we've got a lot on the go. We have the cash to advance our projects. We're growing production through new development opportunities in Nevada and evaluating South Arturo options. And we're growing reserves and resources with new updates in 2020 planned for South Arturo, Mercedes, and Hasaga. And with the long-term development of this project, we expect to deliver long-term cash flow for our shareholders. So with that, I'll hand it back to Jay, and hope I didn't go too much over time. Thank you very much for your time.